Hey everyone, SoranotRoxas here, and I literally just woke up, so I'm gonna make this pretty quick, because there's not much to say about this film. I said the same thing with Hidden Figures as well, but I'm definitely serious this time around as I'm on a time constraints here. This is gonna be my last review video, and don't worry, I'm explaining in a future video exactly why this is going to be my last review. So the founder is about Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's. He came across two brothers basically named McDonald's, and he saw their preparation of fast food, the introduction of fast food. This was even a concept that just blew his mind, considering the fact of the time period that it was in, the 40s, and well, 40s, I think it was 50s. I think it was in the 50s. Yeah, it was 1954. 1954 he discovered McDonald's. And from then on, he loved the idea of not only the fact that the burgers were good and the fries were good, but he loved the fact that this idea of fast food being prepared fast, people ordering and coming up to the window to order. They got rid of the whole drive-in thing, and this was sort of going into what we kind of have today. Of course, we brought the drive-through back, but at the time, drive-ins were a big thing, girls on roller skates and stuff like that, you know, it's very 50s like, and we see the transition from that. And because of McDonald's, we actually have a lot of restaurants sort of pulling that off now. That's how we got Burger King and Taco Bell, you know, all those fast food chains that started doing everything very quickly and branching out from the whole drive-in. Drive-in started dying down, and it actually started saving more money, you know, not hiring these people, not hiring these girls on rollerblades and everything like that, and just put them to work in the kitchen. Or mostly, it was mostly males in the kitchen at the time. But the idea was to save on costs, and then from there we get Ray Kroc's rise to stardom and basically become a millionaire. But at the same time, losing a piece of him almost every step of the way. But you kind of sympathize with him in the movie because he's trying to do moves. He literally starts out by saying to the McDonald's brothers, look, this is a great system, we need to franchise this. And this is what it turned out to be. That the fact that if they would have franchised it from the beginning, which they have tried, but they never had somebody like Ray Kroc to come in with so much vision and say, okay, here's what we need to do to really franchise it and to really branch out from other restaurants. We need to get investors. He was a businessman, and he talked business. He always talked business. Everywhere he went, he was always trying to make a quick buck, that sort of thing. And then we started getting McDonald's on the side of the road. We started getting McDonald's in the Midwest, and then on the East Coast. He's like, you know, there should be a McDonald's in New York. There should be a McDonald's in Florida. There should be a McDonald's in Minnesota and Texas, you know, and places like that. And then they started popping up everywhere, and then down the line we started getting one for, you know, different countries like China and everything. So he had a vision. He had a vision. He followed it. He had ambition, but at the same time, he had to end up kind of screwing the McDonald's brothers because he wasn't getting as much money as he could have, and it wasn't until he met a financial advisor who told him that, hey, you can get more money if you decide to buy the property that McDonald's is built on. That way you can have the land as well, and you can because in the contract that he made with the McDonald's brothers, they have full rights or royalties to what go on inside the restaurant, but on the outside and the advertising and everything. So he could put the sign Coca-Cola on the outside and they'll have no type of say over that, which is total genius. It was the loophole in the contract which they didn't consider. So he brought the property and then he built the McDonald's on it, and then he just started adding things that you would expect him to do, such as not having real ice cream in the milkshakes. McDonald's actually used packets for a while, and it's so fascinating to see how this giant franchising chain came along and started introducing these ideas, which basically became revolutionary in the restaurant industry. That even other restaurants were like fancier restaurants. It's like, okay, I maybe should probably invest in McDonald's. And then, of course, other fast food chains come along, but they do keep the focus on where it needs to be, and it's on the McDonald's and the McDonald's brothers and Ray Crouch and his story. Michael Keaton does a fantastic job here. All around, very good acting. But Michael Keaton totally sells it here as this sort of sympathetic businessman who's just trying to make a living selling these milkshake machines, and then him meeting the McDonald's brothers and him pursuing them to try to, persuading them to try to investigate into making more franchises. So it's a good film. It's not much I can say I didn't like about it. This was really fantastic. I think the only thing was that there's a scene where they actually discuss, Ray Crouch asked them, oh, my printer just jumped on out of nowhere, it's actually cleaning itself. Okay, that's weird. Ray Crouch actually asked the McDonald's brothers, like, how did this come to be? How did you think of this idea? And then we go through their entire backstory, which could have actually been a movie on its own. It's a very long scene, and it's a lot of flashbacks. It's actually pictures of the real McDonald's brothers mixed in there, which I thought was very nice. It's very stylized, the fact that they mixed a recreation with live photos at the time. It possibly goes on a little bit too long. People can say that because this dinner scene is literally like 20 minutes of the film. 20 minutes are just explaining their backstory, well, 12 minutes or so, and it's like this could have been a movie on its own. We could have just got the quick story just to quickly get it out there. But for what we got, I'm glad we got a more intricate version of it. And this printer is getting on my fucking nerves. So I'm gonna end the review here because it's actually annoying the hell out of me. So yeah, good writing, good directing, fantastic acting from Michael Keaton, all around from all the characters. The McDonald's brothers were very believable. I didn't feel like anybody was necessarily phoning it in. This felt like this did take place within the 1950s to the 70s. So I was actually glad this was made, because I didn't know about this franchise, and you wouldn't think that you would actually care too much about how McDonald's was done, but they really started something that continued with franchising a fast food chain, which just started connecting other restaurants, and the idea of why we see McDonald's here and McDonald's there. You see McDonald's everywhere, it's ridiculous. It was because of this guy. He had the vision, he pursued it, and he tried. He ends up screwing the McDonald's brothers, especially the fact that they couldn't keep their royalties. And it tells you, spoilers here, it tells you that if they would have kept their royalties, it would have been over $100 million a year. $100 million a year. Oh my God, I mean, for that freaking money, man, I wouldn't kill. I don't care about being rich. But the idea that they could have had it, because it was their idea. He literally stole their name and basically made a company from that. He took their name and built a company off of that. Fantastic, fantastic. He took the McDonald's Corporation, made the McDonald's Corporation off of their name and ended up going under them. But at the same time, it's like, this guy's a douchebag, but you can kind of see where he's coming from, because he did try to bring the McDonald's brothers into the fold, but they didn't want to budge. It's like every idea that he thought of that said, okay, look, we need to do something to bring down costs, and we can make more money if we do this, if we decide to use powdered packets for our ice cream rather than the real thing that can save us on cost. Or we can do this with the napkins, you know, stuff like that to save on costs. Everything would be paper or whatever. And the McDonald's brothers would be like, or at least one, Dick, would be like, well, no, you know, we're not doing that. McDonald's, we use real ice cream, and it hangs up the phone. So it's like, he really tried to bring them into the fold, and they wouldn't budge. And he was money hungry, so he needed to make more money. I guess they thought he was going to get his comeuppance, but he doesn't. He dies in, like, is it 1984 or something like that? A millionaire. So there you go. So it's a ruthless world, and he actually says that, hey, this is a dog-eat-dog world. You have to go out. You have to have persistence. You have to have ambition to the point where you need to fight for what you believe in, basically. And this even goes into his love life as he ends up divorcing his wife and then stealing another guy's wife who was an investor in the McDonald's franchise. So it's great. It's fantastic. And I fully recommend seeing this film. Well, guys, I said that went on for a little bit longer than what I thought, kind of as long as Hidden Figures, but we got some 2 good films out this January. I didn't really see anything else, so I was glad to see this as far as my last review. So anyway, guys, thanks. Sorry for the stuttering a little bit. Like I said, I'm on a time constraint, so let me just get this video out. And rating. I didn't mention a rating in Hidden Figures. I don't think. I gave Hidden Figures 4 out of 4. This one, as far as the rating, I'll give it a 4 out of 4 too. This was really good. I think Hidden Figures is better. I still recommend that a little bit more, but this one is definitely up here. As far as like, these feel like Oscar-winning films, and it's already January, so hopefully 2017 is going to come out with something amazing. Well, we have Star Wars Episode 8 coming out this year, so who knows. Alright, guys, thank you for watching, and I don't know if I'm going to see you in the next video, man. I think I'm going to have 2 more videos post up after this, but this is going to be the last review. Man, thank you guys for watching, and I'll expand in another video. Catch you later.